Welcome to another episode of the One Life Podcast. Finished week number 3 of At the Movies.
Good.
And a lot of opinions on Avengers Endgame / Infinity War. We kind of combine those two. You were just telling us, tell our listeners kind of the difference of like, yeah, really, really love this, or like, I don't know about superheroes.
It's interesting. Everybody would say, well, I don't know if everybody, the feedback that I received is, hey, we really loved your message parts, but if you're not into Marvel and superhero movies and fantasy, the feedback, if you're over the age of 55, let's just be honest, you probably didn't like those movies. But I would walk out and like all the students were there after the 9 a.m. and they're like, Pastor, that was our favorite one you've ever done. And so you have obviously, it's kind of perfect, not to go back to Revelation, but maybe talk about that for a minute, of there's different genres when it comes to even the Bible. And some people really love the poetry section, you know, like Psalms and Job and Proverbs and Song of Solomon. They're like, I love that. Others of like, just give me the historical, like give me the book, the Old Testament, give me the book of Acts, just give me this a history. So, and I think that it's kind of true of maybe how you like
Movies,
genre movies, right? Like if you just love true stories, or if you love some of the romance novels, or if you love the book of Revelation, like the imagery, you're probably gonna like some of the Marvel stuff, I'm guessing.
fair.
So it's, again,
I thought you were going to say Revelation like the blip when he snaps his fingers like that.
well, I almost thought like, you know, so coming out of the book of Revelation, how I taught it and how I believe the book of Revelation is, that it's imagery, but there's literally, like, if you have a different view than me, like that one movie where like the good and the bad and scorpion looking animals are coming out to fight, like you're thinking that's the book of Revelation, that's really gonna happen. And I'm like, I don't think so. But it's just, it's interesting. So I was sitting there thinking, like, some of my pre-trip, pre-meal people are like, this is going to happen. And I just think it's more superhero movie-ish than not. So yeah, quite the difference. But here's the best one. So my wife came to the 10:30 service, Amanda, and on the way home, she's like, I think that was my favorite At the Movies you've ever done.
Really?
And I was shocked by that. I'm like, really? I wouldn't go that far.
Is she a big Marvel Universe person? Okay.
So full transparency.
I didn't know that.
The Endgame came out, I think it was 5 years ago.
Okay.
Probably. We were in Utah. Amanda was running a race. We had the whole day before, and we just like to keep it chill. Like, she doesn't want to like, she's like, let's go see Marvel Endgame. I'm like, because I know how long it was.
This is not like midnight premiere.
No, this is like 3 p.m.
Okay.
The movie started, and you know, it's not my fault, but now at the movie theater seats, they all recline, and I'm just out, just gone. And she's like, how can you sleep during this? And she's on the edge of her seat, and that's quite the difference between Amanda. So Marvel Endgame is not my favorite like genre of movies. It was a little bit difficult for me. Thank God for a couple other pastors that have done it too. Learned a lot. And honestly, this is the first one. I'll give a big shout out to Dave Spear. We did this one entirely in-house. We did not use any, and when I say in-house, it's like we did the edits, the recording, obviously we do that, but we did it all, packaged it. And so I was really proud that this is the first one that we did, and it really went well. Good response. I haven't been in the office yet today. So what was the response of salvation?
All we did was watch Infinity War and Endgame. That's all we did this morning in the office.
That's awesome. Well, and we're not done yet. It's the 8. I just saved people. I made the joke on Sunday morning. I forgot to do it Saturday night. But I got up at the end and I just said, hey, if you've never seen Infinity War Endgame, you're welcome. I just saved you 8 hours of your life. And it got a pretty big response.
Yeah,
but
it's long.
I think the salvation moment.
Over 40 this weekend.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Praise God.
No, sorry. Over 50 this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah. 51, I believe.
People made a decision to follow Jesus.
Yeah.
So that's over 150 now of people.
Just 3 weeks in, a little over halfway.
That's incredible. I was praying for a couple hundred. That was an internal goal.
Yeah.
Wow. Praise God for that. That's breaking news. Dun, dun, dun.
Really good deal. I would tell you, like, if you follow like the Marvel universe, the moment where Tony Stark does like give his life, and you just look back at like Iron Man 1,
Yeah.
right? And there's kind of this moment of like you feel like you followed his whole life, the maturity that came over him, like went from like the playboy guy living his life, and now he's like gonna save the universe by snapping his fingers. It's
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a tearjerker.
Oh yeah, no, Amanda was on. She was crying,
Yeah.
and I'm like, why is this so emotional? But then again, I'm not bought into these characters like she's bought in, and yeah, same. She had the same.
It was
same
interesting. People I know that like really like the movies because you're taking clips of them. There's like these jokes somehow, you know, like in Captain America, like I'm on your left. If you've never seen any of these, you're like, that's not funny. I don't really get it.
Right.
But if you know about like the guy that was running next to him training and he was like, he's always on his left, and that would annoy Captain America. So there was people in the first service that were like, I'm on your left, and they're like, ah, they're like laughing. Second service, they're like, nothing.
Crickets.
Like, they're like, you didn't really get it. But
okay, so
it's funny.
Really cool, or I wouldn't say cool. It's a really funny moment that happened here at the 9 a.m. service. So at the end, when all the different characters are coming from their different realities, they're all showing up for the epic battle, and the Black Panther shows up.
Yeah.
There was a kid sitting on the front row, he will go unnamed, and he goes, Wakanda forever! It was like really, really loud. And his grandma's like, shut up, what are you doing? And it's that moment of, funny. It gives you the feels for sure.
I thought you were going to say in the auditorium, sometimes when it's so dark in there and you pull it open, it feels like The Ring. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like the lights, you're like coming into this thing. But no, that's funny too.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it was a really good weekend. Really excited, really proud of our team. All the work that's going into this, it's and now to see the fruitfulness, over 150 people. I mean, I don't know if we've ever had a 3-week stretch like this in the history of our church.
Yeah,
I would even say not just salvations, but attendance. Praise God for all He's doing.
That's really cool.
2 more weeks.
Yeah, invite.
So this week, we'll just let our podcast hearers know. Mm-hmm. We always do 1 week at the movies where we go back to the past. Like we call it the vault, and we play back one of our favorites from either last year or the year before. We're not going to tell them what movie it is, but that's what we're doing this weekend. And then we'll end with a holiday classic as we kick off the Christmas season here.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. 2 more weeks.
We mentioned our team. Yeah. Right. Our team this last week was at a pastoral conference, ministry conference called S2. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and kind of give them an update of what our team, the church team, is kind of learning about?
Yeah. So S2 just simply means start and strengthen. It's a Converge, Vision Arizona. It's one of their biggest conferences a year, and it's local. And they bring in amazing speakers, amazing leaders from around the country to lead breakouts. And so every time we try to take our team to go experience it. And it's really good for us to go see a church that I would say we wouldn't do everything like them, but a church that's ahead of us attendance-wise, and they've been doing it much longer than I've been the pastor here. And I think they do a really nice job with their worship, their production, just their facilities. So it's nice to see, and I would say go get inspired a little bit. And honestly, it's just nice to sit through a worship service that we didn't have to plan.
Yeah.
And just be ministered to and worship the Lord together as a team, which is nice. So it's fun. Like I like that. I just sit in the end and look at our team while they worship and just being poured into. But for me, the best moments is the networking outside of the sessions. So to network, to see other pastors. And here's what I would say: like what we're hearing, like from churches that are on the cutting edge, that are forward thinking. Like there is a move of God that's happening around this country. There is no doubt about it. And it's fun to know, hey, we're not, it's a good humble reminder too. We're not the only one, right? God's hands on a lot of pastors and a lot of churches and a lot of staff. So I love that. And the breakouts, so for me, are the money moments. I love those. I always go in like, what's the one thing that I can learn in this session? So for me, like one of the things was, hey, you can get, if you have a realtor in your church, you can get all the new move-ins of the last quarter or year in like a strategic area. And what are people that are moving to a new area? What are they usually looking for? Many of them are looking for a church. They're looking for community, and just writing them a handwritten note. Welcome to the neighborhood. We'd love to invite you to come give them a gift card to our cafe. They have to cash it in with us, like something like that. Yeah. It's just a little incentive. I'm like, man, that's brilliant. We haven't been doing that. So immediately reached out to a realtor. Here's what's crazy. um, 85213, the zip code where our Mesa campus is, there was 12 pages front and back of new move-ins in the last, I think it was the last 6 months. I think was what she printed for me.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Here's what's nuts. The East Mesa campus, 85212, I think it was 54 pages front and back of new move-ins.
Yeah.
And that just shows the growth of Eastmark and Cadence and all of that. So like, we're going to start tapping into that a little bit. And I know, so I can already hear the staff. Oh, we got our hand right. Yeah. Yes. And it's just part of what we need to do, right? Yeah. It's the cheapest way that we can have a really good first impression with people in our community. So those are some of the things that I have Matt Chandler, he spoke. So that was kind of fun for me because I leaned so heavily into him on the Revelation series. The fact that he was there and speaking was just it was good to see him, and good to see the team interact with his message. Yeah. How about you? What was your big takeaway from the conference?
I think we had some things like, I went to a couple that had to do with like staff culture and like leading teams and that kind of stuff that I felt like was really helpful. And again, just some guys that have done it at a larger scale, and to hear some of the little nuggets that they have just to kind of bless our team and some of those things. But I think overall, I think one of the last session that Thursday morning, right? Like it even made me text one of my buddies, because it was more like a breakout. We kind of discussed that. Like it was like a heavy like invite. Like you're asking your people to do this, you have to do this. And so I've been working on a few friends and different things, and finally I just shot another text during that session and kind of prayed specifically over it. They ended up coming Saturday night.
That's awesome.
And so it was a really cool moment that just from that nugget inside of that, for them to be able to come and experience. But
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I think here's my last 10%. Going to these conferences, sometimes you're like, oh, I've done this before, been to a part of it. I walked away with two things. Number one, a lot of the things that we're doing at One Life, it's good, it's healthy. Like it's a reaffirmation of the things that we are doing. Yeah. But it's also a moment for me to be like, no, there is still so much to learn. Like we have a long and prayerfully, like, there's humble hearts. Like and we talk about that a lot on this podcast. Like just having a humble heart, being like, we can learn from anybody, and just continually ask God, like, God, continue to, like, we want to learn, we want to get better. And I think those are the moments, like for me, is like, yep, I need to be better at creating an evangelistic culture in our church, not just an invite culture, but teaching our people how to actually share their faith. I was convicted of that from some of these conversations. So yeah, it's really good, but also really challenging of moving forward. So yeah, I love the S2 conference. It's really helpful, and it's so close, which is nice. We can all sleep in our same bed.
That's true.
Which is nice.
That's true. Juliet on Wednesday was like, "You're going to be gone for how long?" I'm like, "Listen, these other guys are gone for like 3 days from their home. Like, I'm coming home at night." Like,
that's right.
She was like, "That might be better, actually." If you just, no, it's gonna be.
Get you away.
Well, you said moving forward, right? We just had our vision night, one of them this last Saturday, and we have another one coming up this Sunday, the 24th. Talk a little bit about our first vision night, what you're talking about in those, and maybe a promo for why they should come here this Sunday night at 5 p.m.
So Brandon Carr, chairman of our board, we go back and forth a lot. We have like an over-under bet of how many people do you think are going to show up non-staff to these. I think, I don't know, 20 maybe would. And I think we had 10 non-staff.
Yeah, probably.
And it's just, I want to give people an opportunity that if they care, here are the reasons why we're changing the bylaws, because our bylaws were written when we were a much smaller church. And now that we're a larger church, multi-site, we need bylaws that are conducive to that. So we've kind of cleaned them up, added some statement of faith, or added 2 things to our statement of faith for Christian marriage and human sexuality, just so it's really clear of what we believe. That is no longer an appendix. That is in our bylaws, which I think is an important thing as well. So we added, so I want people to know that, and they can ask questions if there's any issues with that. But then part of our bylaws now is I have to give an annual report. So I talk about the budget, kind of share some of the challenges that we're experiencing, get the budget for next year, let them know elder situation. And it was 30 minutes. And so I would say this, if people are interested in this, they need to come. I think it's this Sunday night, 5 p.m. at our Mesa campus. And
you'll give highlights of Mesa Outreach Center, Superior Campus.
Right.
even some potential stuff with the
So
East Mesa campus.
answered the 3 questions of what are the 3 main questions that I get about vision for our church. So it is Mesa Outreach, Superior, and our East Mesa campus, which we're excited to announce a couple really exciting things that are happening over there too. So, I would encourage anyone who's interested in that, come on out, and you'll hear firsthand from Brandon, the chairman of our board, and also me. And we try to keep, honestly, I don't want to keep people here long. I want to honor their time, 30 to 45 minutes. And if they have questions, we'll stick around for as long as it takes to answer any question. So that's Vision Night. And that honestly just leads up to our Make a Difference offering, which is December 14 and 15. Now, people are already giving to it, but that's kind of the date we put on the calendar. And again, that's just 100% of everything that comes into our Make a Difference offering goes right out our doors. We don't keep any of that for us. That funds outreach, missions, kids going to camp, all of the major outreach pushes. Basically, that offering funds it for the next year.
Yeah.
So I say, you're not giving to a church, you're giving through a church, and people are excited to do that. And again, people are already doing it, and we're praying and believing this will be our greatest Make a Difference offering this December.
Good deal. Sweet.
Yeah, it's really, really exciting.
Well, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
And remember, so we're going back to the vault this week at the movies.
That's right.
Christmas classic.
That's right.
It's November 30th / December 1st. One cool thing, and maybe this is supposed to be a surprise, I don't know, but we are lighting up the campus this year here at our Mesa campus.
It's going to be great.
You got to come that last weekend at the movies, it'll all be done.
It'll be fun.
Hopefully.
Like when you say all light, like Christmas lights.
Yes.
Like making it.
I mean, it's going to be lit, but also
very festive.
Yeah, there you go.
It'll be good. I'm excited to see how it's all going to come together.
Sweet.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, remember, the church is not a building we sit in. It's a movement we get to be a part of to help reach one more life for Jesus.